Ooh, it's a bit of a foggy morning. Wow. Good morning. Oh, and it is a good morning. It is a very good morning. Again, a little foggy. Mm. Oh, wow. Good morning. Yes, it is a bit of a foggy one out there, but it is going to be a beautiful day. Absolutely. Yeah. So I keep stumbling across apologists who keep telling me why I'm an atheist. And I have yet to encounter one who actually gets it right. They always get it wrong. They always get it wrong. Well, oh. So I'm going to explain this again. I wanted there to be a God. I really wanted there to be a God. Now, I had a particularly horrific childhood. And so I really wanted there to be a God who would be a force of perfect justice, who would make things right, who would punish the people who had harmed me in my childhood, and who would reward me for being a good person and for not falling down the pipeline that had been placed out for me. I really wanted there to be a God. I did. And I clung to that belief tenaciously that there has to be a God, there has to be a God, there has to be a God. Please let there be a God. So, no, this wasn't me running away from a God. This wasn't me wanting to, quote, sin, unquote. This was me wanting there to be a God. Because this was me wanting there to be justice. Because, well, yeah, I grew up in a dumping ground for unwanted children. And there were pedophiles. There were pedophiles. And we'll just leave it at that. We will just leave it at that. Okay? Yes. But I wanted there to be a God. And the evidence was against this. And so I deliberately set out to find the proof that would knock out all the arguments for atheism. And I had to determine whether or not I could trust my own senses first. Turns out I can. Turns out that I can trust my eyes, my ears, my nose, my tongue, and my fingers to tell me the truth. To not be conspiring against me. All my senses are mine and nobody else's. So yes, I can trust them. Mm. So then I had to examine the evidence, examine reality. And it took me years of struggle to arrive at the conclusion that there doesn't seem to be a God anywhere. Everything for which I felt only a God could be an explanation had a natural explanation that did not require a God. Everything. Childbirth, the origin of the universe, the evolution of humanity, the origin of life. All these things, natural processes that do not require a God. It's a funny thing. You spend your whole life trying to prove to yourself that there's a God. And you realize that, well, there isn't. And yeah, that was a bit disappointing. It was disappointing. But it was also a very important step in my personal growth as a human being. And now, I am a much better person, a much more functional person. And I don't need a God to tell me to be a good person, because I already know to be a good person. It's instinctive. It's who I am. I don't need a God to tell me what is right and wrong, because I already know what is right and wrong. Again, it is instinctive. I understand the evolution of morality as a survival strategy to allow intelligent species to function in groups. There doesn't need to be a God. There just needs to be the natural instinct for survival. Years, and indeed decades, of trying to prove that there was a God led me to atheism. And yes, I was disappointed at first. But, you know, a reality without magic, hello ravens, a reality without magic is still a beautiful reality. Case in point. Yes, I hear you. Yeah. Ravens. We have them in this area. We have lots of them. Oh, and a seagull. They're much quieter. Yeah. Mm. Oh, wow. So I arrived at atheism by looking for a God. By looking to prove that there was a God. And yes, I still want there to be justice in the world. But you know, sometimes you just have to take life as it is.